So you're thinking of visiting Old Park Farm? You'd be most welcome. There's a pretty complex circuit diagram which is published on Sky Demon and of course in VFR guides as well. So if you just make yourself aware of that, oh, that's the wrong photograph. This is who you need to get PPR from. Okay, let's talk you through a typical landing on runway 36. Now 36 is the runway we use most of all because it's uphill and it's 300 meters long, 25 meters wide. The frequency we use is SafetyCom 135.48, and we normally leave the beach. Let's speed this up a bit. See the industrial estate in the M4. We move up towards that, which is a good aiming point. Now we have got one complainer and we try to avoid the house, which is just slightly there. There's a sandy oval ring for horse riding, so avoid that house just there. Crossing the M4, there's normally the M4 thermal to bounce you around a bit, and then that gives you a clear view onto finals as we turn now. Now bearing in mind the majority of takeoffs are on 1.8, so that's why the radio calls are important. You might have traffic in the opposite direction. Okay, there's the windmill. Don't trust it. It's sometimes switched off if they don't need electricity, but it is normally a good indicator of the wind. And there's the runway just up ahead. The first ones are the 200-foot plus pylons to get over. Now there's a second line of pylons and they have balls on the top wire, but they're pretty hard to see, so keep your height until you're well past the farm. You can see another line of pylons just coming up there. Once you're over those, you're on the downhill, there's one set of lines there, and that's the last of the lines crossed. Now the trees to the left, if there's a southwesterly component, they can cause a downdraft just when you're about to touch down. So here you're landing and you're approaching uphill. Avoid that first bit and you're down. So hill will take the speed out of you amazingly quickly. If you have to go around, turn to the left and keep to the west of the airfield as you go round. The first 15 meters of this runway is very steep downhill and you really want to avoid touching down on it if possible. 1-2 runway, and just see if I can just show you what our gradient is. Here's the fence here, and then we come round, and can you just see the gradient that it is up here? Up to the cones you can just see that is the cross runway. I'll take you up there and show you it. So here we are at the intersection. That's a slope down to the threshold of 1-2, and that's what you have remaining. So this is the 30 runway, which is behind me. To get to it, you've got to come over this fence here, which is an earth bank with a hedge on it, and if you look down the runway, you've got a big slope to the left, and then once you're over the intersection, it's really steep downhill. So unless you have got a very strong northwesterly wind blowing in here, I would not recommend it. There's people who've been on the airfield for years and have never landed on this runway, so it's there, but I certainly wouldn't recommend it on your first visit. So when you arrive, if you park up here near the windsock, this is a taxiways, but if you can just park to one side, that'll just do fine, and then come into the cabin and book in. This is the view down runway 18, and most takeoffs are done downhill on runway 18. You take off and turn out to the right, parallel to the power lines. I hope you enjoy your visit.